Summer 2015. We're getting ready for our round 5 matchups, and it's starting to get really intense because players are 4-0. There's only 8 of them remaining, and there's also 3-1 players who are ready to get going. And we're going to start off our round 5 with Gaara from Team Tempo Storm up against Ostkaka from Root Gaming, one of the best players on ladder. And can he translate it once again to tournament success just like he did in Seasory Cup 3? Here on the desk to answer that question is Nimsh, Lothar, and D2 from Team Trig Esports. One of the most legitimate organizations you'll ever see around. How you doing, D2?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, you're asking me right back. All right, cool. Well, I'm doing great. I'm having fun here. But more importantly, I'm asking, how are you doing in the tournament? Are you still in?
I think I'm knocked out. Right now I'm 2-2, and
Gotcha.
There's been like wind of maybe some admin said that at some point that maybe someone could get in at 5-2, but there's like
one player can get in from 5-2, so you have to try to win as many matches as you can and have good tiebreakers.
Yeah, and then that might not even happen. So
really cross your fingers that none of the people. Actually, the more buys you get in your 5-2, the less chances you have to make it then because of the walkovers. Well, glad to have you on the desk. What have you been up to, man?
Just chilling, playing a lot of Hearthstone, trying to stream as much as possible, trying to build my fan base, and yeah.
Are you full-time Hearthstone? Because I know you live in Japan. You're an American citizen living in Japan. You have dual citizenship. For anyone who isn't really familiar with D2, he's also semifinalist at BlizzCon last year.
Yes. Yeah.
And now you're playing on Trig Esports. But I remember you were talking about for a while that you still worked a job, and you weren't able to dedicate to it. Are you still working that job, or are you full-time trying to commit to the game?
Pretty much full-time Hearthstone at this point. That job went from being every day to basically I just go once a week to help them out now, coaching tennis. But yeah,
Gotcha.
pretty much all my time is going to Hearthstone at this point.
Gotcha. And it looks like it's cool to see you do well, although it's kind of been a while since we've seen you perform. This is not interview time, sorry guys. I'm taking over for pre-match. But I want to get to know D2 because it's been so long since we've been able to see him. How is Trig Esports doing with you, Faramir, and Powder, specifically for this event now that you guys are reunited?
We're doing pretty well. Just going back and forth with ideas, certain things. Powder did pretty well at the last DreamHack, got top 4 there.
Yeah.
Brent King pretty close to taking that one down. And Faramir's still alive here. And we've been doing well. Unfortunately, I've been not doing the greatest in recent tournaments. I was at Bucharest, had some fun there, but didn't do well either. But I feel like I'm playing pretty well. I ran 2-3 pretty good players here in Ignite, ECOP, and on the Fishu. So
that's rough.
Whoa. Yeah. So
well, the tournament's stacked. So.
Yeah, pretty much. So but I feel like I'm playing well. I feel like I keep playing. I'll probably do better in the future. But yeah.
All right.
You mentioned Faramir. I think we are going to see Faramir in a couple of matches.
Yeah, in fact, we have a pretty good lineup. I think after this, we also have Raynad versus Dog, who's at 3-1 apiece. That's pretty cool. And then we have Tice
versus
Frezar, and that's going to be our 3-match lineup here for round number 5. Excuse me. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. Make sure to hashtag DHS15 again on social media. This one's really cool. I love to see how Ostkaka is doing. And of course, Gaara comes in as one of the DreamHack strong performers over the last year. So, without further ado, we're going to hand it back to Nimsh, Lothar, and D2, who will be bringing you the commentary for the match.
Thank you so much, Frodan. All right, guys. Ostkaka versus Gaara. Who are you rooting for? Who do you think is going to win this?
Well, privately, I think Gaara is an excellent player. And, well, both of them, of course, are. But he's almost always my favorite when it comes to matches that I watch. Because he's really innovative with his decks. And when it comes to open tournaments, and you can count this one as an open tournament, he always tries to counter the overall strategy that most players are coming into, are bringing into the tournament. Like, let's say, aggressive lineups. Then he counters that with full taunt decks. But in this situation, we'll see how it goes, because we didn't see Gaara yet.
Yeah, this is the first time we're going to see Gaara. Dichu, are you rooting for Gaara? Do you think Gaara is going to take it?
I'm not really rooting for either player. I like both players. But I think that Ostkaka will probably take it. I just think he's been so good lately, and he's crushing basically everyone. He just beat ECOP 3-1, and we know ECOP's been doing really well too. So to be able to play that well, and he did really well at Seasory Cup as well, and just crushing so many games. I think that Ostkaka's probably going to take it, but definitely Gaara's really strong, so it could go either way in my opinion.
All right, guys, and game number 1 is going to start.
Paladin aggro Paladin with Leo Jenkins.
Yeah, it's a very interesting deck. Lothar, can you tell us more about it?
Well, first of all, the biggest card in this deck is Divine Favor, which is practically used on one archetype. Because the primary objective in your deck is to dump every single card of your hand and then draw as many cards as possible with Divine Favor. So it favors the matchups against the control decks like Freeze Mage, Handlock, Control Warrior, a Patron Warrior, because most of the time it has a full hand also. And just rush them down. That's basically it.
So Tito, how do you think that Green Patron is going to do versus it?
In this matchup, I mean, I've played this matchup quite a lot actually because for some reason Aggro Paladin has been pretty big on the ladder, or relatively big on the NA ladder. And I mean, it doesn't do too well. The Aggro Paladin doesn't do too well against the Grim Patriot, in my opinion, at least when I played against it. I kind of just go with the strategy of I don't care if they draw that many cards as long as I have my answers. So I'll just draw as many cards as I can, and I'm not going to worry about Divine Favor.
Okay. Makes sense, but Patron Warden is one of the decks that can actually dump his cards faster than the Paladin, because, Whirlwind is for 1 mana, Inner Rage for 0 mana, then we have Execute for 1 mana, and don't really have that big targets. Anyways, you will just use it on anything that has more than 1 HP.
Yeah, I think like any way you play the matchup, it ends up being like good, because either you have ways to dump your hand, like you said, or there are ways to basically just like draw a bunch of cards, and your opponent basically has to use 3 mana after they've dumped their cards in order to basically they're just like kind of wasting their turn just drawing cards in the sense. So I think either way it ends up being good for the Patron Warrior, in my opinion. But definitely Paladin can, if they get a good draw and Patron doesn't have a way that, like right now he doesn't have Whirlwind other than the Deathbite. They don't have a way to clear the board.
Yeah,
then it could be problematic.
A pretty risky play by Gaara, but a good one, expecting that there is no Whirlwind.
Yeah.
And here he has the silence for the Acolyte as well. So he will be able to pack some damage and stop the card draw for the Warrior.
That's a really awful draw for Gaara though. Like, usually you want just the Consecrations and the Leader Jenkins to be drawn from the top of the deck to finish just the game.
What
or
do you
just
think?
Clean something when they just spam the board, but in this situation they're pretty useless.
Yeah, what do you think about owling the Acolyte instead of the Armor Smith? I feel like the Armor Smith is going to get so much work done if you leave it on the board. And I feel like that's the bigger threat in this situation than the Acolyte.
I would totally agree, and to be honest, you don't really care about the card draw because, as I said before, you played Divine Favor.
Yeah.
So you actually want your opponent to have more cards because then your Divine Favor has more value.
Yeah, exactly.
I would agree if we would disregard the board, because with this board you really don't want your opponent to draw into the Whirlwind. So we want to get as much advantage from the small minions as possible. So I like silencing the Acolyte, but I can definitely understand the Armor Smith silence as well.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to, what do you do here? Like, is Deathbite good? Like Deathbite face to create a situation where you have the weapon online and you will be able to use the Whirlwind effect and just kill a couple of minions, or do you see anything else?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of options. What you could do, you could actually Battle Rage for 3 cards right now. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to go for that. And just Battle Raging for 3, it's just, you get so many cards, you're going to get so many options in your coming turns that, like, it's really hard to not have what you need if you draw this many cards. And
So please continue.
I mean, look, you see him draw the Dread Corsair, like, with the Deathbite, so now his next turn is going to be pretty huge.
Yeah, and he has a Belcher too, so the Armor Smith will be doing really a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless, of course, he clears it now with the Consecration.
Yeah, I mean, you typically don't get that much value in Consecrate. If they have some sort of Grim Patron board, it's pretty much useless. And yeah, this is a nice board clear, and you have your 1/1 from the board.
The Belcher is such an interesting card choice. I think Ostkaka is also running Dr. Boom in his Grim Patron deck.
So it's like one of the earliest iterations of Patron Warrior, because most of them were running like one Dr. Boom, one Belcher in the start of the domination of this deck. Then it was turned more to the metagame, and this was one of the first overall good Patron decks without any tweaks.
Oh man, Ostkaka has the Tori-san, but he doesn't have the combo parts.
Yeah, then Thorson sucks in this situation, because Thorson is just really great when you can enable those nutty combos, and without those, like Warzone Commander, without Patron, without Forcing Berserker, doesn't really do much in this situation.
you still get just having your cards be that much cheaper just helps you with the tempo, though. Like for instance, if you get a War Song after this, even if it costs 3, then you're playing your Armor Smith for 1. I mean, obviously he can't play the Thorson right now, but in future turns, if he plays a Thorson, you have a Firework for 1 potentially. You know, a Deathbite for 3, like a Deathbite plus Dread Corsair for 3. That's pretty crazy. So it just gives you so many options. Like once you put that on, even if you don't have the combo pieces. This is like an interesting play to me. Like maybe he's trying to bait out a second owl on these cards because he saw him use the first owl so readily, and maybe like the Sludge Belcher can do a lot of work in that situation.
I would play the Belcher. I don't know. In this situation, he's pushing for damage anyway. Well, now he knows that there's no armor smith, so he can plan accordingly. How much damage can he go to the how much damage can go to the face, and how much damage can he spend on clearing minions.
By the way, Acolyte play was because of Thorson. That's the only reason.
Excuse me?
Acolyte play instead of Belcher in that situation was because he wants to just increase the value of Thorson this turn.
Oh yeah, exactly. So he's just trying to get as many cards as possible to Thorson some combo pieces like you were saying. But I think the play was a little bit too cute. I think it's probably better to be a little more defensive, in my opinion. And also, like, looking at this card, he probably doesn't run any shield blocks. So that's the last possibility to get big armor turns. And I think that's the way you win this game, is if you just get your health total completely out of reach of your opponent. But, I mean, he's still in great spot. I mean, I would give the advantage to Ostkaka by far in this situation.
Well, I think the other way to win is also just to get your Frothings and Warsong. And if Paladin is using another Master for Battle or just builds a board, which Paladin does, like there's a lot of small minions that have to be played at some point, you just Whirlwind, Frothing, Warsong for the win. That's why you want to draw those cards. And right now he doesn't have them. And he can play Belcher next turn anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like, if Gaara doesn't draw Divine Favor at some point, and even if he does, if Ostkaka just, you know, throws his hand out on the board in that situation, then basically all he has to do is keep armoring up, and you know Gaara, and he has like so many ways to clear the board, even like an execute for something that potentially could get big, or even like even a smaller minion if he's ever in trouble. So like he has so many ways to just stabilize, and you know from there just keep armoring up and get the game out of reach. I think there's very little chance. It seems crazy to think because you know the game hasn't been going on very long, but I mean, looking at the hands, how is it possible for Gaara to even like anything done right now?
Well, yeah, Lothar, go ahead.
No, please continue.
So basically, Gaara has to clear the 5/5, I believe.
Yeah.
If he goes face, well, he has how much damage incoming with leader? That's 6 more.
That is true. He's thinking this is his only way to get back in the game. What do you think? I think Ostkaka might actually use the Deathbite and switch to Fire War X just to get the Whirlwind off right now. What do you think?
It might be an option, but on the other hand, Belcher. Well, first of all, you want to draw a card. So Acolyte of Pain into the Divine Shield.
Yes.
You see what's going on. If you draw a Whirlwind, then you don't need to do the weapon sacrifice.
Yeah.
Well, you can still play Deathbite, Corsair, and Belcher, and even Inner Rage if you want to.
The only problem is that the wait, yeah. If you play Deathbite, oh, he's not going to go for it.
Well, you can play the.
I guess he's just gonna armor up afterward.
Yeah.
Okay. He's gonna Inner Rage it. Looks like. Oh, he's gonna go for like not. Okay, this kind of makes sense.
Yeah, he didn't need Whirlwind. He had a Whirlwind effect in his hand, actually, with the weapon.
Yeah. So I got a little confused because I forgot that the Dread Corsair got lessened. So I thought it was going to cost 1, but it actually cost 0 with the double reduction in cost. So he was able. I was thinking that the Dread Corsair had to take 1 damage in this situation, but Ostkaka obviously knows the situation, and yeah.
Well, that has to be a Consecration Divine Favor turn.
Yep.
It will draw 4 cards, because the Luthor will fill the hand of Ostkaka's here. Well, this is not looking that bad, to be honest.
Yeah, this is why I was kind of wondering about throwing the Armorsmith out so early, because he had 2 taunts in his hand. If he throws Armorsmith behind those taunts, you get crazy value out of the Armorsmith. You just like stack armor. You can never really get past it. So that's why I was a little bit confused about it. And now he's in a little bit of trouble. Maybe I might have spoke too soon about Ostkaka being in a dominant position, because it's looking decent for Gaara right now.
Well, he has a Patron in Inner Rage.
Yeah, he also has a lot of damage here. Just with this board, he deals 11 points of damage.
Yeah.
So he sets up a kill next turn.
Okay. So let's see what a Gaara can do here. With 2 taunts, though, that's pretty tough.
He needs a second owl. But he's dead anyway next turn, so...
And you can't really juggler Master. Gaara is a little bit bigger than before.
I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, but okay. All right, so with that last move, it looks like Ostkaka put it out of reach. I don't think, is there any way to even stay alive here as Gaara?
Not really. The patrons kind of sealed the deal, because without the patrons, we've been still able to play Knife Juggler into Master for Battle, into the Pirate, so he could have cleared the one of the taunts, maybe the second one.
Yep.
But this just sealed the deal.
All right, guys, so Ostkaka is taking game number 1 versus Gaara. And I wanted to talk about Gaara's lineup, by the way. He's not bringing Warrior, he's not bringing Warlock. 2 of the strongest classes, actually. He's bringing Mage, Paladin, and Hunter. What do you think about that? Is this lineup good? He is 4-0 in the tournament right now.
I mean, it's like Lothar was saying before. He's adjusting to what everyone else is bringing. So he's thinking that if everyone's bringing, greedy decks, for example, Druid with like double combo and like not many early minions, or something like, or like just a Control Warrior which can't deal with a lot of early minions on the board, then maybe he just goes all aggro and just kills his opponent that way. And it's worked so far for him, obviously.
Yeah. Especially the Divine Shield guys are really doing well against Warriors and Druids at the same time. So my guess is here that he wants to counter Handlock and Druid and Warrior with his lineup. Because the Paladin is practically like almost guaranteed to win against Handlocks. It's a really great way to punish greedy decks, especially if you play high quality. And I guess he's playing one of those. Can even keep Divine Favor and just drop it on turn 3 because it's guaranteed to throw you like 4 cards for 3 mana. So it's pretty nuts.
So Ostkaka taking his time to select the deck, to think what he wants to go with. He chooses his Warlock. Do we know what Warlock it is?
No, probably Handlock.
Most likely Handlock, there it is.
Yeah.
There's one Blessing of Kings expected. So my guess here, you would like to mulligan for Argent Squires and Minibots. So,
Oh, interesting.
Okay, I wouldn't have done that, but Gaara has to have a different strategy when it comes to this matchup. Like
that's so interesting.
The Pirate is kind of useless, I mean, you won't drop it on turn 1 because it dies to Mortal Coil, right?
Yeah.
So he keeps the card as it was a turn 4 drop. Well, maybe turn 2 because you have the coin, so Master for Battle on turn 2, then drop the Pirate on turn 3.
Yeah.
I think you can still play it on turn 1. It's a 1 drop you play, so it will generate some aggro. And if there is a Mortal Coil...
Well, now it's a Leper now.
Yeah,
I guess what he was thinking is that since he's going second, if he plays the Pirate on turn 1, then it goes to turn 2 for Ostkaka, which means he has to sacrifice tapping in order to get, or sacrifice maybe, an Ancient Watcher or a Sunfear Protector, something that he wants to play, because Ostkaka is smart. He's going to keep those smaller minions. So he's thinking that he needs to sacrifice board development in order to play the Mortal Coil. So it might have been a really next level play by Gaara.
Yeah, also when you're playing an aggro deck, you're taking risks. You want to play 1-drops, you want to deal as much damage in the very beginning.
There's a Mortal Coil for turn 3 for Ostkaka, so probably a tap into Mortal Coil. Maybe on Sunfear Protector, if it will get really, really bad for him.
For Gaara, it's an easy juggler. Yeah, I think this is excellent, actually.
Yeah, just get as much damage in as possible before any taunts come up. And then if he ever gets something like, like a huge Molten Giant taunt wall, then at that point he can maybe just use his Owl, or maybe get Equality or something like that. Or, maybe he's so low that he can just like consecrate for the win.
Also, I like it specifically because now you create Leper Gnome to be a bigger threat than Juggler. So you basically force Ostkaka to kill Leper Gnome first. If there would be a Dark Bomb, let's say, you would Dark Bomb the Leper Gnome instead of Juggler. And then there is the Master for Battle that will work well with the Juggler.
There's the Divine Favor, which is a crucial card in this matchup.
He immediately played the Muster, though. I guess it's too good with the Knife Juggler on board.
Yeah, definitely. 15 health at turn 4.
Yeah.
And next turn, probably Gaara will be just you know, Divine Favor into Pirate because it also bursts damage.
Are you pressured enough to Shadow Flame here?
Yes, I guess so.
It's it feels so like. I mean, he does have 3. The thing is, Gaara has 3 cards, and he's going to draw a 4th. So if he Shadow Flame here, maybe he just fills up the board. It's kind of a scary situation. If you don't Shadow Flame, you could get punished because he has a huge board. And if you do Shadow Flame, then what if he fills the board in again? So tough decision. He goes with that. I think he's going to just Pirate and Divine Favor this turn. Get like how many cards would that be? 4. 4. Yeah, it's pretty good.
No, wait, 3 cards. Well, you can play the Pirate first. What I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is
Never mind.
4 cards.
Well, he gains 3 cards, so you were correct. Because he cycles the Divine. It works.
There's an interesting interaction between Pirate and Cockhammer, you know, because the Pirate gets always the charge whenever you switch the weapon. So you don't have to play the weapon first. So if you play the Pirate, like let's say it's in 4, you play the Pirate, like an example of this situation, you have no weapon, you play the Pirate, and then play Cockhammer, so you generate a 2-1 Divine Shield taunt minion with charge.
By the way, Gaara takes the decision there to attack. So he's taking a gamble that there are no Molten Giants. This turn could be devastating. Tap, double Molten Giant, Sun Fury. But
I guess he told Gaara that he doesn't have the Molten Giants with the Shadow Flame on the Ancient Watcher.
Yeah, potentially, but he was at 15, so it wasn't possible for him to play any Molten Giants at that point. I think he was thinking that like I have double Owls, so I'm okay to get him pretty low. And the thing is, like, if you don't get the damage in, it's sometimes hard to find the damage later. So he's thinking like this 3 damage is important. I can just Owl if I need it. I have the Leper Gnome, the Leper Nimsh for an extra 2 damage. I have the Conjugate for an extra 2 damage. So and like a lot of handlocks play double heal bot as well. So you want to get that damage in as fast as possible so he doesn't recover.
So here I think you just Owl this and play Leper Gnome, play Argent Squire.
Yeah, probably the best.
Alternative is just, you can also Master, but then Leper Gnome and Argent Squire is providing more damage.
I guess the other alternative is using the hero power, but Argent Square is just more sticky.
Yeah,
so it's definitely better.
Yeah, well, the other thing is your hand is so expensive right now, comparatively for an aggro paladin. So I mean, it's going to take you 3 turns to use your hand anyway. So and you want the game to be over in 3 turns also. So I mean, it's kind of like you're not going for long-term value. You're going for I need to win the game right now. So I definitely agree with the Argent Squire over hero power.
Ostkaka doesn't really have much choice here. Just Twilight Drake and Sunfury Protector to taunt both. And then with another Silence and Blessing of Kings, that will be 6-7 points of damage.
Well, you can clear with the weapon in the Owl, in the Leper Gnome, the Belcher. Then he has
is there any
4, 7,
lethal
5, 5, 7, 9. That's lethal.
Yeah, that's right. Oh wow, that's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah, the Leper Gnome does basically 4 damage in this situation.
Exactly.
So yeah.
On the back of the Leper Gnome.
On the back of the Leper Gnome.
By the way, double Blessing of Kings. Most people were playing just one in the aggro paladin, like in the beginning of the current shape of the paladin. But after seeing how sticky minions are now in current metagame, like with Divine Shields, the minibots, the Argent Squires, and especially with double Pirates, the Blessing of Kings is just a 4/4 minion with charge, basically.
Yeah, it's just so much extra damage and so difficult to deal with. Some decks have silence, but say for instance you're playing against Druid, that costs Druid 4 mana just to silence your minion and it's not even dead. So it's basically like it's combining aggro, like aggressive play with tempo as well, because you're forcing your opponent to use a certain amount of mana to deal with your cards, and you can't have like a huge play that you could have. For instance, if you put like Blessing of Might, where they could maybe just swipe your board or do some other AoE, like basically it's impossible to kill a Blessing of King's minion unless you get that get the silence in.
Yep.
For me, the metagame cycle is actually amazing because this paladin has been spawned by Torisan. We get Torisan, then we have a lot of those combo decks that have a lot of cards in hand, and then the aggro paladin is back with the Divine Favor.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like Blizzard's idea when they came up with Thorson, if you think about it, because it seems like such a powerful deck, but then like in the back of their minds, like, well, if this brings back control, then suddenly aggro can be really strong again.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a terrible opening hand. Fortunately for him, he won't be seeing any of those cards again.
Who are you talking about?
Gaara.
About Gaara.
Yeah, like he can still get the second Wolf Rider in his mulligan, but that's highly unlikely. So at least he knows that won't happen probably. For Ostkaka, that's not that bad of a hand. Like you need Hellfire anyway against Hunter to maintain both positions.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he kept both though. That's really
Yeah, of course.
And then Sludge Watcher's a little bit too slow as well. I think he's definitely keeping the Ancient Watcher. Oh, he's getting rid of the Ancient Watcher.
Well, he plays Zombie Chow, and maybe that's what he's fishing for. Oh, wow.
So Zombie Chow and Mortal Coil are great, but then Lothep is alright. Ragnaros, maybe not now.
That's a good opening hand for Gaara.
That's why I was a little bit confused about mulliganing the Ancient Watcher. Like, what else are you possibly looking for? Like, the rest of your deck looks like this, right? The rest of your deck looks like Giants and Ragnaros and Thorson. So I feel like Ancient Watcher is probably one of the better cards he could have chosen.
And Mountain Giants are practically dead in this matchup. Because you won't be able to play it until like turn 8.
Yeah, exactly. I think you just go for it. You just take the board right here, go Zombie Chow Coin, Mortal Coil. What do you think?
I think that makes a lot of sense. Then you'll be able to tap next turn.
Like, having board control against a Hunter on turn 1 is so crucial. And then it's just, if in that position, Gaara, like, what do? You play Mad Scientist that trades for equally for 1 Zombie Chow for a 1-mana card.
Yeah.
Usually Mad Scientist is like one of the best cards in the game, and it trades for, you know, so much mana of your opponent and like just resources. But yeah.
Playing both this turn is so powerful because if there is like a juggler, you trade in. If there is a Mad Scientist, you kill Mad Scientist and then you spring the trap with the same Zombie Chow.
Yeah, exactly. You can even proc it with the Sun Fury and be able to taunt something, you know, bigger later.
The quick command will be important in the mid game. Probably not right now, but he's playing the aggressive version of Hunter, so having these skill commands in his hand already, it's something that kind of adjusts your gameplay, because you know you can go all in because you have the kill command.
Yeah, it's a very important card to have as a Hunter. By the way, Gaara decided to hero power there because he has the Eagle Humbo to kill the Zombie Chow this turn.
Yeah. Pretty tough decision by Ostkaka there to go for the tap instead of developing a Sun Fury. It's really tough decision because you want to develop the board to get that to get the tempo on the Hunter, but at the same time, if you have no turn 3 and 4 play, it's really just a sticky situation. So
tempo BGH, oh yeah.
Yeah, you're probably not going to see anything you can BGH in this matchup. So you're not going to not play it.
In before turn 7, Dr. Boom.
That would be a really interesting addition to this.
So now Gaara has a pretty good situation. He can kill the BGH. He doesn't care about the damage that much on him and play 3 minions. Is there any reason not to play all 3 minions?
He could get the hero power in. His hand is pretty cheap at the moment, so he's probably not gonna use kill command to the end of the game. So I mean, he could just weave in the hero power. The next card he gets could be like a 1-drop anyway, or it could be a charge. In which case he could just charge for 3 and then use hero power. So I think just playing Mad Scientist and hero power is decent here. The only problem is it's not that threatening to Ostkaka.
It's not, but at the same time, Mad Scientist is really important to just fin the deck, to not have the dead draws of traps. Because in this matchup, when those are explosive traps, they're practically dead. Until the handlock will attack you for 32 damage from the Giants, like it won't be fired off anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just going to have the Mad Scientist out there to contest the Big Game Hunter, and he's thinking that he probably needs every charge of this bow that he can get. Contrary to what a lot of people might think, the handlock is actually pretty decent against Face Hunter because they have so much healing these days.
Yep. We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Twilight Drake, an amazing card here.
So do you trade the 4-2 and the 2-2 just to stem the damage, or do you get greedy and go face here?
You can possibly also defend a Vargas and kill it.
That's true.
And then you will have kind of like a taunt wall, but oh man.
Yeah, that's definitely a reasonable play, especially because you have so many more taunts in your hand. Sometimes if the defender's your only taunt giver in your hand, then you feel a little wary of doing that because you won't be able to give any of your bigger minions taunt. But I think it's a reasonable play at this point, especially because you can go defender, and then he has to deal with a taunt, and then you can sludge, and then you can Thoris, and then from there you're in a really good spot. But he's thinking about it. It's definitely a tough decision. Like this turn could actually change the game. Like these are the pivotal turns where like it snowballs the decisions you make. So definitely respecting Ostkaka for taking as much time as he needs.
With the Twilight Drake, it seems like the best play because you develop before 7. But if there's an Iron Beak, you might be in a bad position.
But maybe he baits the Iron Beak out before he gets taunts out, so that he can.
Is he bluffing Freezing Trap right now?
I think he just wants to get the bow charge.
No, I mean he could have just
guess.
gone to the Twilight Drake, but then the Explosive Trouble. Well, then the Big Game Hunter could have been traded into whatever he plays on the board. So yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to limit the amount of minions on the board that can do combat, and so that he can so like his minions can get more damage in. And he's already seen one more recoil, so it's like, and I think he knows that he doesn't have Dark Bomb as well, so it's kind of hard for Ostkaka to deal with this board. And every minion that gets this extra 2 damage, that's another hero power.
Yep.
So.
And he's missing the Molten Giants.
Yeah, exactly.
For now.
For now.
But he's still in a good shape, I think. Like here, if he plays the Belcher contests this board, and he doesn't really have to attack with the Twilight Drake yet.
Also, Ostkaka might not know what kind of hunter this is. It could actually still be like Hybrid Hunter. He could be holding on to a high main in his hand or something, and so that could have been Freezing Trap. So I mean, it was a reasonable bluff.
So Ostkaka reads it, and he gets a little value from that attack.
Yeah, it's really painful for Gaara because he gets his scientists together draw only one secret, and he has the other secret in his hand as well. So he basically has a dead card in his hand. He didn't get the second secret, and now he's looking at kind of a sticky situation.
And here are our viewers looking at the situation as well. So what can Gaara do? Lothar, is there anything you see?
I'm thinking about like it's a really tough call. And he also plays the Pirate in this deck, so that means he has to play at least 3 weapons. That will be 1 Glaive So I guess you just sacrifice Leper Gnome and Hero Power and pass.
Just attack into the Sludge Belcher and Hero Power?
Yeah. Then you have next Explosive Trap. And
I think if that's the play he's thinking of making, I think I would just not even attack into it, because then
why not? You want to damage the taunt for sure. Because if the Twilight Drake will kill the Leper Gnome, then the Sludge Belcher will not be killed.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like he could have played the South Sea deckhand, run it into the first half of the Sludge Belcher, and then cleared it with the bow, and then cleared the full taunt with the Leper Gnome, and that would have been decent, because unless he draws another weapon, he's not going to get the charge out of the South Sea, and now it's complete. He basically has Hero Power past that turn.
He might be playing 4 weapons.
He might be, but from this spot, I mean, Ostkaka doesn't need to attack.
Yeah, Ostkaka is in a good spot here.
So,
he doesn't need to.
I mean,
he will win with Ragnaros from turn 8.
Exactly. But he doesn't. Yeah, exactly. So that taunt is basically going to be really, really annoying in this situation. Like, hello. I'm actually really surprised he attacked. I guess he just wanted to get this. I
well,
guess
this kind of setups a really big wall.
Yeah, it does set up a bigger wall, and isn't really that one too. But I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that like the decision from Gaara was kind of peculiar, because if Ostkaka wanted to, say he didn't have an option like this, he could have just left the 1-2, and any chargers have to go through that, and it's just really a crappy situation for Gaara.
What about now Wolf Rider plus Abusive Sergeant to damage the Ancient Watcher? So you have to get rid of it anyway, and
well,
your Wolf Riders and other charge stuff you will play will not go through the walls anyway.
Oh man, it seems like such a bad situation for Gaara. Ostkaka is planning for lethal in 2 turns. Oops. If he plays Lotheb now, he will be able to finish the game with Ragnaros next turn.
I didn't really understand the Wolf Rider Wolf of the Abusive Sergeant.
Yeah, kind of peculiar.
He even picks the Molten Giant there.
Yeah.
This is over. Like,
Oh, yeah. He just concedes.
Whoops. Denied.
all right, so Ostkaka's taking the lead 2-1 versus Gaara.
Oh, he's left with his Hunter, which, if it is a mid-range Hunter, it might struggle against ultra-aggressive decks. And we still didn't see the Gaara's Mage deck, but I guess it might be face
Yeah,
Mage
it's
too,
probably
right?
Tempo Mage, yeah.
We can see it's Custom Hunter.
Yep.
It is a custom hunter. I saw him playing against ECOP. It is mid-range. So, yeah, I think definitely Gaara's still in this. He could come back and win 2 games against this hunter if he's just faster than it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Mirror is a 50-50, more or less, unless it's fast versus mid-range. But Web Spinner would tell me it's a mid-range for Ostkaka.
Yeah. So I think Gaara's hunter is just a little bit faster. So I think Gaara's a pretty heavy favorite in this situation.
I agree, definitely. But you know, it can be turned around. So, like, cards like Explosive Trap are very good, but if mid-range Hunter is able to set up a taunt with the Handmaster or get something important from the Web Spinner, then he might have an edge. And if Gaara is not fast enough, if there is a big high main on board, that might be it. He doesn't run freezing traps as well. We haven't seen any freezings. No freezings. Because Mad Scientist died.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just the 2 explosives, yeah.
I really like how Gaara kept his owl in his opening hand, because it means so much to silence the opposing Mad Scientists.
Yeah, that's really important. So even with 2 web spinners and a quick shot in the hand of Ostkaka, I still think that Gaara has. I think he's just going to be able to out tempo in this situation. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's true. I think you don't even kill the web spinners. You just go face with the Mad Scientist. Just push for damage because you're the aggressor in this deck. So you don't really count on anything else. And if your opponent want to get some draws from the web spinners, he will have the trade anyway.
Yeah. So he goes for the second web spinner. What would you think about in that situation going for the quick shot and then setting up the trap immediately?
I was thinking about it, but I don't think it's good. You don't necessarily will get a free drop from your web spinner, and then he can just play on turn 2 a knife juggler that you will not be able to deal with because now you don't have the quick shot.
Yeah.
So I like just playing another web spinner.
Yeah, definitely the fear of the second 2 drop is probably what kept Ostkaka from doing that. As for this situation, he could just glaive Zuka, one of the 1/1s, and go face, prevent him from being able to deal with the Mad Scientist. Or he could just go full Smork.
I think you just play Haunted Creeper here and go face with the Mad Scientist, you know?
Yeah, it looks like he's going for my play. I win, Mozart.
Okay. You win. Well, I'm on the casting, so you know.
Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, the problem with the Haunted Creeper is that.
Oh wow!
I mean, it was good. It's good as well.
Look at this. There's an Emperor Cobra on 3 into Handmaster on 4.
That is actually pretty good. But if you think about it, Emperor Cobra has enough damage to kill anything in the Face Hunter anyway. So.
Yeah. It's like an overkill.
Yeah.
Here you might go for the quick shot, as you said.
Could go for the quick shot.
Will he? Cannot. Well, then he drops turn 4 Pulse Shredder. If he will see a Wolf Rider, he will have to trade the Pulse Shredder into the Wolf Rider. So the Pulse Shredder seems kind of like a bad option here.
But you get a minion from it, so it is like 2 for 1. If you play Cobra, Cobra might just die. Or you will take 5 damage, which is equally bad.
Yeah, it's true. You can always just take 5 damage. This is Face Hunter. This is Smork. So no, I think just first of all being mana efficient, and second of all like something like what if he just rolls Huffer right here? You know, you need that quick shot. So I think I agree with playing the Cobra right now.
Also, if Gaara doesn't clear the second web spinner, then you have always the Handmaster the web spinner. So
yeah, exactly.
That's not so bad.
Yeah.
The web spinner will buy you 2 damage. I mean, 2 points of health, essentially.
So do you trade here or you just go full face?
I think you go for face with the deck that Gaara is running, actually, with Wolf Riders, Arcane Golems. He has Explosive Trap as well, so he knows that if Mad Scientist is going to die, there's one Explosive Trap that is going to damage the board, and then he has another Explosive Trap in hand, so there's no need for trading. Just go for face. The opponent is forced to trade into your minions.
Yeah, even though it seems like it's such a good trade, it's also so much damage, and Hun doesn't have that good defense, so that's why they can struggle.
The question is though, do you go Animal Companion or do you go Leper Gnome and hold the Creeper this turn?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think he goes for Animal Companion, and if it's something like actually if it's almost anything, I think you actually trade the Mad Scientist in.
Well,
so
if it's Misha, you have to trade with the Mad Scientist. If it's Huffer, just
yeah,
go
if it's Huffer,
face
go.
with everything.
Oh yeah, if it's
Always
Huffer,
Huffer.
Oh, okay.
I guess he just doesn't want anything to contest.
The Huffer?
Yeah.
To
In
be
this
honest, I didn't
situation
like
now,
that.
he has to basically quick shot, and he does the Mad Scientist. That's pretty good.
I was lucky.
Yeah, so having to quick shot and then hero power would have been really, really bad for Ostkaka. And yeah, I mean, you can go either way. In a different world, Ostkaka could be at 20 right now with the Cobra on board, but I mean, you are afraid of the Houndmaster as well, and that would have been a sticky situation with basically a 4-1, and your Huffer's cleared.
Well, Houndmaster can still come. Like, look at this. Ostkaka is still at 23. That's a lot of health. If he plays the Core Rager next turn, then Houndmaster into it, and he has a 6/6 taunt.
Yeah, that is the risk that you take with not going face, because all of a sudden it's the middle of the game and they're not very low, and they can play their big minions.
They don't feel threatened by the situation on board, so they can actually just go with Savannahheim into the face instead of clearing, because if you just go face with everything else, most of the time the mid-range hunter will feel so intimidated by the situation on board, he will clear ineffectively.
Yeah, exactly. So, what's the turn here? He's just gonna go with the creeper. I guess it makes sense, because it takes way too long to clear all the parts of that creeper, unless he has an owl, which he's taking that chance.
And you can draw Unleash the Hounds to counter the freezing trap.
Animal Companion, does it change his play? I think it might be better than Core Rager. Or is it? You'll have to trigger
Animal Companion weaves in hero power, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I think I just throw the Scientist to the face and then go Animal Companion. Even if you draw Leok, you'd rather not take the 2 damage on it.
Definitely. But you have to think about the plays here. Maybe if you don't go for the Beast, Houndmaster, Pilot Shredder might be better, because Pilot Shredder gives you a minion for sure, and Animal Companion or Core Rager is a gamble that the minion will survive.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think that the play here is to attack with the Mad Scientist to the face and play Core Rager, because if you survive the early onslaught, turn 7 Animal Companion and Houndmaster will be way more important than Dr. Boom.
Yeah.
You really need that taunt. So Core Rager here, it might not die, because 4 health is something that a hunter has a really big problem of dealing with, right? Because there's no easy way to deal 4 damage. Unless it's a kill commander, but in this situation kill commander should be used to the face to finish the game.
I agree with you that Core Rager would be probably better than Animal Companion, because with Animal Companion, if you get Halfers, like going for face doesn't do much, and it can be easily killed by a quick shot or maybe explosive trap.
Yeah, Power Shredder is still fine. Like it pushes for the same damage as Core Rager, but the problem is that it's not a beast. That's the only downside of it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you can drop a beast from it. Like it can be Hunter's Creeper, it can be
Crocolisk.
Yeah, it can be a Crocolisk.
There's a couple of beasts. But then like Animal Companion and Houndmaster is great for turn 7. Or turn 8 if you choose to play Boom. Depends on what you want on board.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what you were saying before, Lothar, in that he's not, like, Gaara hasn't put that much pressure on Ostkaka's life total comparatively, so he feels like getting something like a Shredder that can basically just survives through the explosive trap, because you have to kill it twice anyway. And so he's just going with that to just try to be able to race a little better, and he's not worrying about the taunt. In this situation, just go face, right? 13.
Well, he wants to play around freezing traps, so spawning more Spectral Spiders will actually play around.
This is true.
Then your opponent is pushed to play Unleash the Hounds in this situation just to clear those 1/1s.
I guess, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, also like if he wants to kill the 4/2, he has to attack with the Pilot Shredder instead of a Mad Scientist.
And this is why I would like to see the Core Rager instead of a Pilot Shredder. Because now you can play Houndmaster. You know?
Yep. Absolutely. What did you think about Gaara's play, by the way? Would you have not gone Leper Gnome and just Hero Power of the Fates? It ends up being the same damage in the end, unless it gets Silence, which, costs mana. And then he's giving his opponent 1 extra mana now. He can always just Arcing Golem later. I guess he counted the mana and saw he couldn't weave it in, really.
Oh, you're right, he's at 7 now.
Yeah.
Well, he can play Huntmaster or Animal Companion anyway. So,
Yeah.
wait, so okay, the Pulse Shot is now way better than the Core Rager.
Yeah, I mean, well, he didn't know he's going to get the Arcane Golem.
Yeah, of
so-
course, yeah.
So that's what I was wondering, because like I feel like it opens so many possibilities for Ostkaka with that 1 extra mana.
That's true, that's true.
So I'm really confused with Gaara's play. But I mean, on the other hand, he is down in 15 and he's threatening a decent amount of damage, so there is that as well.
Yeah, I wanted to suggest Dr. Boom, by the way, because you get Explosive Trap, you get the bombs. There's a... I don't think if I
I
was
got a piece
like
out of it. Nice.
that's a pretty good beast, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty threatening, especially if he gets Unleashed coming up.
Here's the second Owl. Well, this sucks really badly. At least for now. Now he's pushed just to go for damage. Everything to face. Lepronome, Hero Power, Weapon to the face, I guess. Because that's it. You need to keep the Owls for the taunts. And you need to finish the game as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Ostkaka would be able to set up that Core Rager Handmaster next turn as a 6-6 taunt.
I want to talk about Ostkaka's play again, actually. Like, just having no fear and saying that, like, the only way I'm going to win this game is if I get a ton of damage and I kill him as fast as possible. And playing defensively is not really going to help me because I'm going to get Hero Power every single turn. So going with the Dr. Boom is, like, such a ballsy play, but I think it was the correct one.
Yeah, it works. This is the way you win versus Face Counter. If you give Face Counter enough time to draw into all the threats, you just die.
Yeah, you don't have time to play defensive. You just have to go race as fast as you can.
I didn't like the Owl on the Hyena here. It just another target for the bomb. Doesn't really do much. And the bombs are useless against this board anyway, because there's an explosive trap, so they're just encouraged to do what they do the best, so trade for 1 health minions.
What would you silence there?
Nothing. Just would pass. Keep the
Silence, just BM silence the Dr. Boom.
So, you would not play minions at all? You would just...
No, I would just play only the Lepronome and keep the Owls for after the turn 8. I mean turn 7 for Ostkaka, because your hand is practically dead anyway, and there's an explosive trap, so there will be no lesser minions on the board anyway. So you need to keep the Owls for the taunts.
But I guess you're thinking of this exact situation, because if you see the Owl just took 4 damage from one of the bombs, and then if he didn't play the Owl, then you basically guarantee bomb damage to the face, and I think that's what he's trying to avoid.
Also, I think he was avoiding Unleash the Hounds as well, because Hyena can deal a lot of damage.
That is also true.
Is it lethal? 3-5? No. But wait. No, he doesn't have the mana for explosive. Wow, that is tough now. 7, 11, 15 damage, so that's lethal on board next turn, even with the silence.
Yeah, he's 1 damage off lethal at the moment with Owl, Unleash, Hero Power.
Oh man, that really sucks for Gaara. And I think he's dead like whatever he does, right?
How much is it? Yeah,
he can clear 1 minion with Unleash the Hounds.
Yeah, he can, let's see. He can put the Core Rager, okay, he can put the Core Rager and the Houndmaster both at 2 health so that he can Explosive Trap.
That's true. He can also kill that for free if he wants to.
Wait, what? How?
So he Owls the Core Rager, brings it back down to a 4-4, plays the Unleash, hits 2 of them into the Core Rager and 1 into the Houndmaster, so they're both at 2 health. Neither of them can, and then he plays the Explosive Trap, so neither of them can attack, and he's only taking 7 damage the next turn.
Yeah, that's the correct play here. And then you need next turn to draw a weapon and win the game. Or kill command.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of outs. Like he has Wolf Riders, he has Arcane Golems.
Whoa, almost a miss.
All right.
Almost misclick, yeah.
Oh man. He's going for the play with all.
He's reaching toward the end turn button. Uh-oh.
Well, Gaara, better hurry up.
Yep. Oh, that's so...
Why would you do
Oh,
that?
he missed that. That's it then, right? That's 10, 16.
11. If that's a huffer, that's the end of the game.
No, is it lethal? Is it lethal in hand?
Should be
So
lethal.
10,
That's
13,
It's 11,
16.
He's missing
14. Yeah, he's 1 off lethal unless he draws...
a hover.
Well, hover doesn't help. Well, it
does
It does help. You attack first.
Yeah,
If
you
it's
attack first. Yeah, you
explode-
attack first. So either Leok or Huffer wins.
Yes, Leoko Huffer wins. Misha loses, practically doesn't lose the game because he then has a taunt, which has no way of dealing with. So only kill command wins the game then.
He could actually trade the Core Rager into the Owl to decrease the chances, like, and then attack with the Houndmaster, or either one actually, into the face. And if he gets Leok, he just needs 1 damage anyway.
That's true, yeah.
So he can actually trade one of the minions to play a little bit safer. But yeah, it's definitely better to go face here, yeah.
All right, so Misha is not doing it. Leok or Hoffer is winning the game right here. And that's a Misha.
Oh no, it's a Misha.
Oh man.
Gaara still has a chance.
What
But
now?
look at that. If you would have kept the Owl, I know that the bomb would have maybe damaged his face then. But still, the second Owl is so crucial.
But then he could have been dead already with 1 damage to the face. So.
That's true.
Oh my god. Can Gaara draw? Actually, do you clear the
There's a
dude?
difference.
He's already seen 2 owls.
Yeah.
So
And Q command
can
is
he draw it?
lethal. And that's, oh man, that's not it.
That's not it.
That's it. Ostkaka takes
Ostkaka
it.
wins 3-1.
Wow, what a series. That was super tight.
Yeah.
Both players on edge.
Yeah, Ostkaka barely holding on. Gaara's lineup looked actually pretty decent there. I mean,
Yeah.
going with the aggro lineups, he was able, I mean, didn't work against some of them, but you figure there's always some deck that's susceptible to aggro. And if you go all 3 aggro decks,
That's true.
yeah,
And Ostkaka is now with a score of 5-0.
5-0.
2 more rounds for him, and he can still lose 1. And if he loses both, he will actually miss the top 8. But now, just 1 more, and he's in the top 8.
Yeah,
True.
it's a
Gaara
great
dropping-
position.
Gaara dropping a game means that he can't lose any more games. But 2 more matches, if he wins, he's top 8 as well.
Yeah, they're both in a really good position considering so many people are out right now. But yeah, Ostkaka in a great position.
Yeah. Well, thank you, D2, for casting this match with us.
It's a pleasure.
And good luck in the tournament. Well, I
Thanks.
hope you will go to the 5-2 and, you know,
The crazy scenario, yeah.
maybe sneak into the competition to the top 8. So
All right, I'll do
thank
my
you very
best.
much.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, well, D2 ends up parting ways just with Death temporarily. Maybe we'll have him back. In the meantime, we have Ostkaka from Root Gaming. Now, I want to preface this as he's getting ready to join the desk, is that Ostkaka requested to be on stream multiple times because he wanted to show his games and he wanted to get that exposure. So I'm looking forward to see what he has to say about the series. So Ostkaka, welcome to the desk. You're 5-0 so far, and I think it's finally living up to the billing. You know, being able to play a lot of rounds demonstrates, you know, your skill over time. And a lot of people have been hyping you as one of the best players. So just to go ahead and walk me through that series for you on your end.
Well, it was a pretty close series, I think. It could have like easily gone either way. I think like in the last game, if he won that, then he actually had like a really good chance to take the series. And that was an unfavored matchup for me, and I just barely made it. He even had outs at the end, right?
Yeah.
I just focused on playing my best the entire time, and I think it may have made the difference in the last game, like just taking my time and playing as best as I can.
All right, fair enough. Do you guys have any questions? I mean, you guys
No.
are casting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not about the game. We'll come back to the games later. But about the Swiss. Like, how are you enjoying the Swiss as a player?
I think this Swiss is sort of like a double elimination, right? Like if you lose 2, then you're out.
And basically, that's how Swiss works
Yeah,
every time.
yeah. But this one's like very exact mathematically, so that if you lose 2, you're out.
There's a huge difference between Swiss and double elimination when you're in the lower bracket, right?
Right,
in
right.
double
You have to
elimination,
win
you will
more
have to
games.
win 2 more matches every time, and in Swiss, in this case, you don't have to play more matches. It's just the same amount of matches that you're usually playing as the other players that are going undefeated. And there's also this difference between the brackets. You don't have a stacked bracket and a random bracket with
Right.
lesser known players, right?
But Swiss in general, I really like it. Like it's one of the formats where I perform my best in. Like all the online qualifiers with Swiss, I always feel like I would do really well in those. I mean, in general, just like more games in a game with variance is, you know, gonna make the better player win more often, I guess.
Yep.
All right.
Sure.
Now back to the games then. So Warrior versus Paladin, I believe. Instead of
Right.
going with Belcher, you went with Acolyte of Pain and Armorsmith. Why was that?
That was like a really close call, I think. I know that Paladin has Divine Favor, right? So, you know, playing the Acolyte was a little bit weird there. But actually, like, kind of like thinking like several turns ahead, like how is this game going to pan out? And just playing like those minions into 2 1/1s was like really good. And getting the Armorsmith down as well is like really important versus Paladin. So
Yeah,
it was a really close turn, but I think that might have been right.
Well, we were wondering because if you have a taunt on board and then you manage to put down Armorsmith after you have the taunt, then you generate more armor in general, right? So maybe that was one of the closest calls when it comes to that game.
Yeah, I think so too. It's likely that it gets owled as well. And also, if the Armor Smith sticks, then you can just play the taunt afterwards, and it's the same thing. But yeah, that was definitely like a close call, and I might be wrong about that turn.
And another one that wasn't necessarily wrong, like it was just a different decision there. There, Mulligan versus Hunter with Handlock. You mulligan away Ancient Watcher. Were you specifically looking for this Zombie Chow and Mortal Coil?
I mean, those cards, I just got those, and it's pretty good. But I think if you don't draw the Sun Fury and also only run one Owl, then like just having a Watcher without activation is really weak, and there are a lot of other cards that are better, Zombie Chow, Mortal Coil, Molten Giants. So I think it was fine to mulligan it.
Yeah, good.
All right, and maybe a question about Dr. Boom on, because you really hold out to your Hunt Master versus in Hunter x Hunter, and you didn't play the Hunt Master at the last moment actually. You played Dr. Boom. So what was your strategy there? Did you like to be aggressive or?
I mean, Dr. Boom was the play to win, I think. Like, that's just so much damage, right? But also, he actually showed me that he had an Owl, I think, on one turn, where I had a Mad Scientist and he had an Explosive.
Yeah.
He chose to play Haunted Creeper and Hero Power, but he like pointed something at my Scientist before, and my read was that was an Owl. I don't think Gaara's the type of player who like tries to mind game with those things, so I kind of knew that he had an Owl, and playing the taunt then doesn't matter too much, and then he actually ended up owling something else.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's pretty good. It's high-level readings, and I really enjoyed listening to that part. Ostkaka, people don't really know too much about you, but I think they're starting to pay more attention after a great C-Story performance in April. And now you have a really high chance of going to the top 8. You have to lose both of your next matches, which is highly unlikely based off the way you're playing. It's very solid. And I'm sure, I know 6-0 was watching very passionately, like talking about plays and drawing the maps with how to do stuff. And I guess he's really happy to be able to cheer for you on. So congratulations on your win. You have anything you want to say before we send you off?
Hope I don't go 0-2.
From this point on. I mean, the worst you can do is 5.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, Ostkaka from Team Root Gaming, he advances 5-0 from this point on, but he still has to win at least one more to guarantee top 8. Good luck in the next round.
Thanks.
Good.
All right. In the meantime, I believe our next match is Hoy versus Faramir. And Faramir is currently one matchup in that best of 5, and we're going to hop directly into that mid-series. But first, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our Hearthstone action here at DreamHack Summer 2015.